Okay, well, first of all, let's try to, okay, we'll take you, I beg your pardon? Well, I see. So we have a big hodgepodge of a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, you asked me an enormous question, but let's first I'll be general and we'll try to be precise. For example, I concluded a long time ago. As I said before, we can't really talk about anything until we talk about the economic system. And I concluded a long time ago that this economic system, for many reasons, is doomed. And frankly, it can't end a moment too soon. It is, it's caused fantastic grief and waste and does until today. And all of the things that the lady over there was talking about, like affirmative action or equal opportunity and all of those things, are menaced and by the stranglehold of this system. What I'm trying to say is, whatever we are talking about, we have to bear in mind that that is what we're up against. That is what has to be, in one way or another, defeated, outwitted, overthrown finally, or it will fall of its own weight. But we are always in that shadow, and our intentions, which are really essentially, after all, to save our children, is not the intention of this republic. It was never intended, after all, let us tell the truth about it, it was never intended that we should be free here, and it was never intended that we should be able to talk to each other as we are doing now. It was not a part of the will of the American Republic. Now, one's politics has to be based, has to come from that. And the reason it's difficult for me sometimes to discuss my political views is because it demands a vast amount of improvisation from day to day. For example, how in the world, our president is against political prisoners, and he said that to the whole world, right? And he is for human rights. But we have thousands of political prisoners sitting in jail in this country right now. For example, Ben Chavez in Charlotte, North Carolina, and all of our effort until this hour has failed to get him released. You know what I mean? The question is then, how do we do that? And furthermore, behind Ben Chavez, there are thousands of boys sitting in the tombs right now who have absolutely no right to be there, no reason to be there. How do we get them out? And we know very well that we can march and petition the mayor, the president, and we have done it for years and years and years. And it's not until there is some advantage they can gain from responding, it's only then that they respond. Now I will add this. There's a responsibility, since we have we can expect such little help from most of our co-citizens, and none at all from the power structure. Then we have to be, we're in an unprecedented situation which demands unprecedented means. So there being no historical precedent for our situation. Marx nor Lenin can help us here. European history does not help us here. History doesn't give us any example of the black people of this country and the situation that we are in and where we came from and how we have endured. So we have to forge a new politics with a vast amount of cunning, and I might add, a vast amount of silence.
Amen. Next.
is that is this an advantage to us as black men to have this kind of attack? Or are we supposed to respond to this in a negative manner? How do you respond to this right response?
Okay, the question is how would Mr. Baldwin, would he respond to, I think it's Cheryl Wallace?
Michelle Wallace.
Michelle Wallace, with the work that she has done into Super Ego or something like that.
It's Black Macho and the Myth of
Black
Black
Machos,
Superwoman.
sort of thing.
Well, I've not read the book, more or less deliberately. And I hear your question, and it's a little, it's a little distressing. I don't want to discuss the book. I haven't read it. I'll read it one of these days. But frankly, what I really feel at bottom? No, I think black men have survived so much, I wouldn't be worried about this book.
Very, very, very good. Let's take somebody way back there. Yes, you. Fine, with your hand up. It has to do with television media. Okay, I think it was well stated. I'm not going to repeat it. Go ahead.
That's a difficult question because television is designed to sell things. That's
that socialism is not a viable alternative to black. Is that what you
No, that's not what I mean at all. I said Marx and Lenin because I should have said the European model. That does not help us here. We are in another situation altogether. And in fact, I envision a socialist state that I can't imagine what other kind of state we could hope to bring about. The only trouble there is, as I say, it's not really a trouble. The difficulty is there is no model in the world that I can point to and say that's the state I want. The socialist state that I envision is something which we'll have to create out of our materials here. That is to say, out of the American necessity to respond to American necessities, and it necessarily is something which we'll have to make up as we go along, because there isn't any precedent for it. But I think the socialist state is the only hope of the world, because obviously this state, costs too much in human life. It's simply too expensive. The world cannot afford it, which means that it's doomed.
Okay, right here, Joe.
Oh God, I never said that.
Okay,
well, I never, never suggested that Richard Wright should be murdered or that he was the father of all black writers. Richard and I had a quarrel of our own, which was more or less healed. We never got to be as close as I would have liked. But there was a quarrel between a very young man and an older man, and the fact is I loved Richard. For the rest, the whole, I tend not to move in the literary scene because it's dull, and I never understood competing writers and all that. It's not for me. I have enough trouble competing with myself, and the rest is the rest is somebody else's business, not mine at all. I don't care what they're doing out there. I got my work to do, and my family to take care of, and my friends, eat with, and that's it.
Okay, down front.
Higher learning, are turning rate, not because they can't meet those standards, but because of high school, secondary school that they receive, some of them, the white students receive, and also that they are killing off some of our black leaders, such as I.E. Malcolm, Martin Luther King, no longer have them. Malcolm decided us to act. Martin decided us to act.
I know.
Contemplate action. And since this that we are in now, as far as a form of action, we need people such as them, but no one here, for yourself, what would you give us? The groundwork, community groundwork, to go about not having people that can just look up to and that be turning, thinking for ourselves, or getting access to reading.
Go ahead. He was right up front. I think they got that.
That is a terrible, it's a terribly difficult question to answer honestly. Because the truth is, I don't have any single answer. I understand very well what you're talking about. I know where you're coming from. I know about the schools you're talking about. And then I have to ask you to do something. Something we can do, something that you only can do. I don't mean that I'm copping out on you, but since you are in the situation, you have to attack it. I don't know how to tell you to attack it. If you cannot get an education one way, then you'll have to get it another. If you have to steal the book, and steal the time, You understand what I mean? I will do, I'm with you. I will do anything. But I know what you're up against.
But such as
Mm-hmm.
I have now,
Mm-hmm.
those who are dealing with things and are very,
Mm-hmm.
I can't always be there.
Mm-hmm.
How can you get the others to those students who are in the streets?
Well, you have to go to the streets. You have to go to the pool halls. To the prisons. And I know. I'm not. My situation's not so very different from yours. It seems to be, but it's not so very different. You have to go where the trouble is. They won't come to you. They don't dare. They don't know how. You understand me? You will have to go there, and bring out one. You see what I mean? Or bring out another. You see what I mean? But if you see the necessity, you have to act on it. You follow me? Mm-hmm. You're not as alone as you think you are.
Okay, back here, take questions, sure. Okay, Jonathan Kane. Very good. Excellent. Would Mr. Baldwin be willing to go to Rhodesia and stay there and write a book on it and then come back, I guess? And then come back. By the way, are you speaking of Rhodesia, or I presume you're speaking of Zimbabwe? Okay. Okay. Five. Go ahead. Okay, we'll get to that too. Good.
I'm afraid, to tell you the truth, that I probably cannot go to Rhodesia now. Life being what it is, I may be there tomorrow, who knows. But at the moment, I had other plans. That doesn't mean that I disagree with you about Ian Smith and so much else.
Okay, right here up front.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I'm sorry. There was a book, in fact, though, coming out now. Yeah. A book called We Are Everywhere, written by a white Rhodesian refugee. It's a series of portraits of about 6 gorillas. And I did the preface to it. And it's my small contribution, but I'll improve. Oh.
Oh, what are your reflections on the? Okay, is that it?
Miles Davis. Oh.
Okay, there are 2 things. One is on the trial of Huey Newton, his trial, and number 2 about Miles Davis. Significance for you of Miles Davis as a writer, who was here some years back.
There's very little to be said about the trial of Huey Newton. You know, it's an obscene waste of money. And,
Amen.
you know, and they're furious because they didn't manage to get it. You know, and we mustn't let them get it. You know, it's a crock of shit. You know.
2 crocks.
As for Miles Davis, Miles is a friend of mine. I never thought, you know, it's hard to think about a friend of yours in terms of his significance to you because I love it. I suppose when I think about it, you know, his journey, which is his music, means a great deal to me. You know, he's my brother. It's very hard for me to disassociate myself from him. I think I know where he is. I think he knows where I am. You know, we seem superficially very unlike. But beneath that, they're very close, really. And I learned a lot from that, from his music especially, from his style. Oh, the only way I can answer that, really, you know, is to quote another friend of mine, Max Roach. We met each other a few weeks ago on the beach in Hollywood. And Max grabbed me and he said, "We're still here."
Okay, right over here. Sure.
Educate them. Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. I'm not so sure that that's a contradiction, you know. I'm talking in any case. I know this, you know, I know what Jesse's saying, and I know what Harry's saying. I don't think that's in contradiction. You know, we're talking about how to save our children. We're talking about the morale of our children. You know, and any technique which will do that is perfectly is valid. I was thinking about children on buses, much younger children, spending hours on buses, going to a school where they are not wanted, where they cannot possibly learn anything, and coming back home even more demoralized than they were when they left. And I think that's wrong. I don't think it... And you may think I'm being excessive, you know, or bitter, but I've observed. I can only tell you what I have seen. You know, I know in my own life that the public school system did not educate me, had no intention of educating me. You know, I'm afraid that's true. Now one's got to do something about it. And what has to be done about it? Maybe I'm not the person, you know, to answer that question. But the question has to be raised because the children are being destroyed. That's all I'm really saying. And we can't afford to destroy our children. Yes. Well, you misunderstood me because what if I say to black parents what I said about schools? Obviously I don't expect anybody who hears me go out and do what I say, but I do want you to think about it. You know, what am I asking except that black people be responsible for black children because nobody else will be.
Okay, we'll take your question. You got a question? We'll take your question now. 2 questions. Okay, wait a minute. Very good. Hey, man. I see no need to repeat the questions. Very.
I don't know, and I'm not sure I know how to answer it. You know, because about San Diego, you know, Black Studies Department and the whole academic and political crisis you're talking about, really. I'm not, you know, I really don't know how to answer that because all I can tell you is you have to save that department. I can't tell you. I know how power works, but I really honestly don't know how to answer that because you know I'm not there really. As for the second part, all I can say about that is it's a revolution which is unprecedented. You know, and it's true they have the guns, but we have something else. You know, they have the guns, but that's all they have. Let me put it that way. You know. And I know this, when a kingdom can defend itself only with guns, it hasn't got long to live. You know.
I should mention that your problem is not only the problem that's being faced in San Diego, it's being faced over many places in the United States. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's very necessary to have a national conference of some type to deal with that specific type of thing. Yes, so you can take a follow-up. Yeah, that's good to have one day, but I'm talking about something that's really programmed over a year or something to really have something. Okay, this young lady here's Nancy. Well, take the next. I can't repeat all that now. Go ahead. Damn, I hope we got that. Is that it? Oh, we're getting in gear here now. Go ahead. Yeah, Erskine taking off his coat. Yeah, it's getting good. Yeah. Go ahead. Can you get that? Okay. Well, there's a lot of things. There are a lot of things there. Let's see if he can pick out some of that and at least try to respond to some of the things.
Oh, wow. No, I can't answer. I really can't. A lot of it I can't answer. But you begin at the beginning about interracial marriage. That is who people marry, who people love, is their business.
You said before. That's right. That's right. You'll be next. That's right. All right, let's see. Okay. Go ahead. Will you please, come on, let her answer her question. Okay. Well, let Mr. Baldwin respond to the question, please. Let's have some sort of order in here.
Look.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay, let him answer your question, please.
We have to be strong enough to let people be free to live. No. Do you think you have the right, or I have the right to tell anybody else who or he or she should marry, who he or she should love? That will weaken the fiber of the nation faster than anything else.
Okay, up here, the question, the Berkeley man. Okay.
It is what. What do you mean by that? You mean the mentality of white people? I have said over and over and over again, I'm trying to make this clear, and I'm quoting Malcolm when I say this, that white is a state of mind. You're as white as you think you are, as white as you choose to be. I said it's a moral choice. I don't think that we've come this far to fall into the European nightmare. That's exactly how the European nightmare began, by dictating to other people how they should live. We haven't got the right to do that. That's what I mean. I pretend that we are better than that, much better than that.
All right. Very well. Shh. Quiet, please.
I beg your pardon.
Or would you read for week? He can't hear that.
They had a number of courses in university that qualified for history and constitutions requirement, and they cut a lot of those that came out of the ethnic black studies department.
Well, the answer to your question, obviously, is no. You know, what you're talking about is, Mr. Peter just explained to me in detail, but the political operation that you've endured. Well, you see, what can I tell you, my friend? The purpose of the institution is, let me put it another way. There are two ways. The state does not want, no state really wants, a really educated person, because an educated person asks questions. What the state ideally wants is somebody formed for the purposes of the state who will not ask questions, certainly, and who will not disturb the peace. Now, this is true in California, it's true all over, it's true. And so when you're up against it, you have to fight that, And it is true, the historical detail we're talking about, that is the courses which were rejected, which you are losing, is part of a conspiracy to keep you from knowing who you are. Now, when I say this, people will say at once that I'm exaggerating, I'm paranoid or whatever, but not all of the things that happen, to black people, can be dismissed as acts of God. There's a certain purpose, There's a reason. There's a reason that you're in battle, and the reason has to do with your attempt to discover who you are, which is what you mean by education, and the state's determination that you shall not discover who you are, which is what it means by education. You're on the right track, so I can tell you. What you see, trust what you see, because it's true.
Okay, back.
I beg your pardon?
Your views of Israel. That he was in Israel before, and you'd like to know some of his views on Zionism and what he experienced while he was in Israel. Is that it?
I was in Israel several years ago, and I liked it very much. Being there and walking around. It's a very beautiful country, and I like the people very much. That's one thing. But I'd tell you another thing too, though, which is this: you sit on a cafe terrace in Tel Aviv, for example, and you watch Jews from Russia, England, France, England, in short, from Europe. And you watch Jews from Ethiopia, Algeria, Morocco, Africa. And there's a great gap between the European Jew and the African Jew. In the bottom of the ladder, bottom of the pile, is the Yemenite. Now, when I had to think about it, and it was a little painful because I had very many Jewish friends. And of course, I was born in the Bible. That has something to do with it, too. I know something about the history of Zionism. And so I know something about the correspondence between people like Chaim Weizmann and Theodore Wirtschel to Winston Churchill, let us say, to the English authorities at that time. The polite way of putting it is to say that, as Time magazine would put it, that the Zionist movement used the available political machinery. Well, the available political machinery just happened to be England, which was then a tremendous colonial power. And the Zionist movement did go on record as saying, if you give the land to us, they said this to the British, if you give the land to us, and not to the Arabs, your empire will be safe for 1,000 years. What's in the record book stays in the record book. I didn't write it. I can't expunge it. And finally, one could say that the Palestinians have been paying for Europe's guilty conscience for 31 years. And one could say that the state of Israel was not created to save the Jews, but to protect Western interests at the gate of the Middle East. And that would never have happened if it had not been for the Third Reich. That's a very bitter way to put it, but that's the truth. Now, I do not know, I was born in the Bible, but I am not so sure I believe in the biblical possession of the land. And I don't think that it's right for the Palestinians to pay for Europe's crimes.
Okay. So what's your question?
My question is, what would be your law if you had to write a law saying that everybody can go unkilled, unsuffered, and uninterfered with hypothetically?
Okay. And how would you enforce it? Okay, go ahead.
I say that because my hypothesis is it leads to cancer, heart attack, cataract, and other eye infections.
Essentially, it has to do with it. You don't want the body being pierced with the hypodermic needles, etc., or sutures, or whatever it is.
Okay, if it does happen to anybody, it does eventually crack over from a heart attack, cancer, or cataract, old age.
Okay, how do you respond to that?
I'm not absolutely sure I'm equipped to answer the question because I don't know enough about I think I know something about what you're talking about. But I don't know anything about medicine at all. I agree with you. I don't want anything. I don't want any needles in my body. But I don't know anything. I don't know enough. I think you're talking about medicine. You're talking about Western medicine, and I have my own theories about Western medicine. I think we can do without it. But I'm not equipped to go into to discuss that in detail. It's something I'm trying to figure out myself.
Okay, all right. All right, quiet, please. Let's get. Okay, what's your question? Okay, 1 minute, please. Your question is, you just want his comments? Okay, is that it? Okay, let's hear your comment. Quiet, please. Let's get that. Okay, essentially what the question she's asking is has to do with daycare essentially then too about the black mother and white mother with respect to their children. What are his opinions on that?
You've obviously touched a nerve. You know.
Obviously.
You obviously touched a nerve, and frankly, since I'm not a mother, I'm not in this situation. I'm gonna let that question pass. Let me go home and think about it.
Mr. Raymond, go ahead. Let Jimmy go to the other part of the question. Go ahead. The other part of the question that has to do with daycare. Is there anything you want to?
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, my mother and my father, were working. They had to work to feed us, and we were not in daycare. There was no daycare then. We stayed with an aunt, or we stayed with an uncle, or we stayed with various other people. Well, my father didn't want to go on welfare until he had to, and so we were very poor. I was the oldest, so I know what I'm talking about. Right? I took care of the kids.
So you were the daycare.
I was the daycare, yeah. But you see, I'm in a situation now. I don't know California, first of all. I don't know what these women are up against, with their children. Obviously they do, and it appears that they know something you don't know, You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that the economic situation of black people being what it is, and the ways in which you had to outwit it, dictate a great many things, And if a mother has to leave her child in daycare, it's not because she wants to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, question way back in the back here. Very nicely put. Okay, the lady up here. Please speak a little louder, please. Do you want him to comment to that? Do you want him to comment to that? Is that what you want? Is that your? It was a specific question? Okay, I guess I imagine that Mr. Baldwin would like to respond to it. Very nicely put. Imagine he'd like to say a few words to that.
No, I think I understand you. I think I hear you. I don't want you to think I was hostile to the sister. I didn't feel hostile at all. No, not at all. No, I meant what I said, and I hear you. You know, and what can I say? What can I add to that? You know, I see that, and I know it, and make sure it's love. You say, well, what can I can't add anything to that. You know, what you say about the white woman, the role of the white woman in the society is true. You know, what I do not want to see, I don't want to see what has happened to us. I don't want us to repeat the nightmare. I don't want us to decide that all white women go under the gun, the way all black women have gone under the gun, or all black men. When I said I think we're better than that, I mean we're better than that. We don't need to do that. Do you hear me? You know what I'm trying to say? And I don't think we disagree. You know, I understand what you're saying very well, and I love you for it.
All right, we have another 23 minutes, and at this time, we'll take a question right over here. The gentleman, fine. Yes, go ahead. What advice do you have for young Afro-American writers that are emerging on the scene, or want to emerge on the scene? Are emerging on the scene.
Well, what do you mean by advice? You know, a writer writes, and then the trick is somehow to get read. You know, get somebody to read it so you can get published. You know, an Afro-American writer is still very much up against the structure of publishing, well, which is just simply another American institution. And he's going to have to find a way to, in a way, smuggle his experience or force it, you know, and not expect really to be understood by the machinery which is publishing him, you know. I mean, you got to decide to be tougher than the machinery, if that makes sense to you.
Okay, your follow-up. You had a follow-up there?
What kind of historical advice do you have for African-American people that are living in America in terms of history in Africa, relating to Arab expansionism into North Africa, and dealing with the South African problem in South Africa and Zimbabwe? What kind of advice do you have for black people in the
In Africa? Well, you know, it would be kind of presumptuous of me to. How can I possibly advise anybody in such an extreme situation? You know, I'm sitting over here; they're in it. You know, the last thing they need is advice from me. You see what I mean?
Okay, over here. You're talking about you would say, we look at our present trouble. You mean the wholesale thing in Guyana and Jamestown? Okay, so how does he look at that? How does he look at that? Okay. Okay.
I hear your question very well. It's my question. I don't know how to answer it. I don't think it's a fluke. I don't think it's an isolated event in history. It's an event which, frankly, I have not yet known exactly how to read, you know, but I don't think it was suicide. I begin from that premise. No. And then where that leads us, I'm not quite prepared. I'm not sure I know yet. But I hear your question very well. But I don't believe the story that I was told.
Okay. Like in the case of the needles, accidental sutures, and things like that. How? How do you legislate against those type of things?
I'm sorry the question wasn't clear to me before. It's clear to me now. How do you legislate against this? How do you legislate against anything? You do it. You force it. But you see, the question wasn't clear to me, you know, at all. And I didn't know about the bomb either, you know. So, but I beg your pardon? But I'd like to know more about that. That's all I can tell you now. I'd like to know more about that.
Okay, let's take one right up front here.
Mr. Baldwin, in your book, Double Fine's Work, you speak about the communications in the movie industry. I'd like for you to speak directly about what you think about the effect of communication on the minds of Americans, and what do you mean by the title of The Double Fine's Work?
What does he mean by communication? It has to do with communication in America, with the media, and what do you mean by The Devil Finds Work? His definition of his book, The Devil Finds Work.
Well, The Devil Finds Work is a book about black people in the movies, and the title is a little sardonic. You know, the devil finds work. You know, we're working for a while. And well, the movie. What it's about is the way the media, in this case the movies, distort reality, and not only distort it, almost make it irrelevant, almost make reality inaccessible, because you are so inundated with the image, with a dream, you know, and everyone, and some part of everyone which wants to dream, and the Hollywood industry, television industry, is geared to that, and unluckily, you know, most of the people in this country have never questioned it, and are still dreaming. It reminds me of Ralph Ellison's statement about there being no people more dangerous than sleepwalkers. And this is a nation of sleepwalkers, and that's what my book is, you know, partly about.
Okay, gentleman here, little brother. What was that?
I will read it. I can get these papers that I put in. About you. Would, and I wonder if you always see that item. Because a paper like these, maybe in Los Angeles, Seattle, or Chicago. Do you see all these things?
You're saying that you read a lot of items in the newspaper about him. Oh.
Oh.
Last fall in the Los Angeles Times, someone wrote who, when they were young, was thrown out of their home in New York. And you were writing a book over in New Jersey. This person went over there and you took care of him. Did you see that item?
No, I didn't see that item.
Yeah, very nice, very good. I like that. It's not okay up there. Go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. Go ahead. Let him finish. Let's finish. Let's get to finish. You got a question? What's your question? Hey, come on, please. What is your question? So, was there a question? So see, you're saying that black people are needed. Oh no. So,
that's what he's saying. Yes, I'm willing. I hear what you're saying, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. But I still believe, you know, that the American Republic intends to make does not want to need us, you know, and would like to rearrange that as quickly as possible. You know, now it won't be possible. But you talk about mobilizing the black working class. I grew up with that idea, and it is almost impossible to do, you know, because it isn't as strong as you think it is, for one thing, you know, and it's too scattered for another. That is what I think in any case. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
Quick question right here. Would you the next question, please?
Mr. Baldwin, I wanted to ask you if you know of any place I can find out any information about the racial problems between classified. I understand it's a very tough situation there.
Well, it's very tough, but there's very little. The British are not anxious to give out information about it. And,
I have some items that I put in these papers.
Well, we got some consistency. It's 10 minutes and we're counting down. We'll take a question right here. Go ahead, take your question. I can't hear you.
You heard me say that? I said all white people are the enemy?
All right, go ahead. What's your question? So you're... So you're saying are white people the enemy? That's essentially what you're asking. Are all white people the enemy?
I have never said that. I'm not a fool.
Very good. Nice and terse. Fine. Right up front here.
If she wants to go. What do you mean? Well, if she wants to go, well, I don't understand the nature of your question. Well, in Jerusalem, the official God is Jehovah. You know, And Malcolm and Elijah were not gods, you know. So I certainly got your question. I mean, I don't know what the connection between Jerusalem and some other god.
Would you go there or someplace else? Maybe touch the Wailing Wall or something.
I don't know. I've been to Jerusalem, and I'd like to go back to Jerusalem, but I didn't go there particularly to worship. You know.
Okay, go over here. Okay, well, first of all, let's try to, okay, we'll take you, I beg your pardon? Well, I see, so we have a big hodgepodge of a lot of things.
Yeah, well, you asked me an enormous question, but let's, first I'll be general and we'll try to be precise. For example, I concluded a long time ago, as I said before, we can't really talk about anything until we talk about the economic system. And I concluded a long time ago that this economic system, for many, 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 many reasons, you know, is doomed. And frankly, you know, it can't end a moment too soon. It is, you know, it's caused fantastic grief and waste and does until today. And all of the things that the lady over there was talking about, like affirmative action or equal opportunity and all of those things, are menaced and by the stranglehold of this system. What I'm trying to say is, whatever we are talking about, we have to bear in mind that whether that is what we are up against, that is what has to be in one way or another defeated, outwitted, overthrown finally, or it will, you know, it will fall of its own weight.
And media, I still have some sort of effect on it, my opinion. However, this brings me to the question, what do you think about the effect the media, namely television, has on the upcoming black generation capability of performing a total black perspective without succumbing to white influence?
It has to do with television media. Okay, I think it was well stated. I'm not going to repeat it. Go ahead.
That's a difficult question because television is designed to sell things. That's
that socialism is not a viable alternative to black. Is that what you
no, that's not what I mean at all. I said Marx and Lenin because I should have said the European model. You know, that does not help us here. You know, we are in another situation altogether. And in fact, I envision a socialist state. I can't imagine what other kind of state we can hope to bring about. The only trouble there is, as I say, it's not really a trouble. The difficulty is there is no model in the world that I can point to and say that's the state I want. You know, the socialist state that I envision is something which we'll have to create out of our materials here. That is to say, out of the American necessities. But we are always in that shadow, you know, and our intentions, which are really essentially, after all, to save our children, is not the intention of this republic. It was never intended, after all, let us tell the truth about it, it was never intended that we should be free here, and it was never intended that we should be able to talk to each other as we are doing now. It was not a part of the will of the American Republic. Now, one's politics has to be based, has to come from that. And the reason it's difficult for me sometimes to discuss my political views is because it demands a vast amount of improvisation from day to day. For example, how in the world, you know, our president is against political prisoners, and he said that to the whole world, right? And he is for human rights. But we have thousands of political prisoners sitting in, you know, sitting in jail in this country right now. For example, Ben Chavez in Charlotte, North Carolina. And all of our effort until this hour has failed to get him released. You know what I mean? The question is then, how do we do that? And furthermore, behind Ben Chavez, there are thousands of boys sitting in the tombs right now who have absolutely no right to be there, no reason to be there. How do we get them out? And we know very well that you know we can march and petition the mayor, the president, and we have done it for years and years and years. And it's not until there is some advantage they can gain from responding, it's only then that they respond. Now I will add this. There's a responsibility, since we have we can expect such little help from most of our co-citizens, and none at all from the power structure. Then we have to be, you know, we're in an unprecedented situation which demands unprecedented means. So there being no historical precedent for our situation. Marx nor Lenin can help us here. You know, European history does not help us here. History doesn't help. History doesn't give us any example of the people, the black people of this country, and the situation that we are in, and where we came from, and how we have endured. So we have to forge a new politics with a vast amount of cunning, and I might add, a vast amount of silence.
Amen. Next.
First, I've enjoyed your visit here from the day that you arrived. It's been an inspirational thing for me and my wife, and I'm sure everyone else. My question related to a writer who's originally in town, Michelle Baldwin, her book. And the reason why I ask this question is simply because she's attacking, I believe, black men. And I like to know, is this an advantage to us as a people to have people of her ability to come out and put black men in a worse position than they already in? Or is it an advantage, or is it an advantage for us? I haven't read it, but I read the article of the and the idea is that, is this an advantage to us as black men to have this kind of attack? So are we supposed to respond to this in a negative manner? How do you respond to this right response?
Okay, the question is, how would Mr. Baldwin, would he respond to, I think it's Michelle Wallace, with the work that she's done into Super Ego or something like that?
It's Black Macho, the myth of
Black
Black Superwoman.
Sort of thing.
Well, I've not read the book, more or less deliberately. And I hear your question, and it's a little, it's a little distressing. I don't want to discuss the book. I haven't read it. I'll read it one of these days. But frankly, what I really feel about him? I think black men have survived so much. I wouldn't be worried about this book.
Very, very, very good. Let's take somebody way back there. Yes, you. Fine with your hand up.